Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to America. For those who have never been here before, America is the American Center under the U S Embassy, Jakarta. My name is Dina, I'm one of the e-guide here, and I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions regarding America. And for those of you who have never been here before, I would like to inform you a little bit about our upcoming events. So, for our upcoming events, America is turning 9 years old this upcoming December. America akan berulang tahun ke-9 di bulan Desember ini. Dan kami mengadakan Passport to Prizes. Jadi, buat Anda sekalian yang datang ke America, Anda bisa mengumpulkan stamp card. Dan untuk mendapatkan stampnya, Anda hanya tinggal mengikuti acara-acara kami dari tanggal 1 hingga tanggal 8 Desember. Dan nanti Anda akan mendapatkan stamp. Nah, stempel ini jika dikumpulkan mencapai jumlah 10, Anda akan mendapatkan hadiah menarik dari kami yang dapat ditukarkan di hari Minggu tanggal 8 Desember. Dan jangan khawatir, jika Anda datang ke Amerika hari Senin atau Minggu di mana kami tidak ada acara, Anda akan tetap dapat mendapatkan stempel ini dengan cara memainkan virtual reality games kami atau juga mencoba 3D printer kami atau memainkan board games kami. Jadi silahkan langsung saja datang ke America bersama dengan keluarga Anda dan mengumpulkan stampnya. Dan juga bagi Anda yang ingin melanjutkan kuliah di Amerika, kami punya Education USA. Kami punya 2 advisor yang selalu standby untuk menjawab semua pertanyaan Anda mengenai kuliah di Amerika. Kami ada di sini setiap hari dari hari Senin sampai dengan Minggu dari jam 1 siang hingga jam 9 malam. Dan juga untuk hari Sabtu kami di sini lebih pagi dari jam 10 pagi. Dan tentunya semua acara di Amerika dan juga fasilitas dan servis yang kami punya di sini semuanya gratis. Dan juga ini adalah highlights dari event-event kami. Bagaimana caranya supaya tidak ketinggalan event-event menarik kami? Simply becoming our website. By registering yourself at www.adamerica.or.id, simply click register or Facebook connect and then enter your name and email address and you will be officially our member. And the benefit is you will get newsletter just once a week through your email about our upcoming event. And America is very active with our social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Stellar, and also YouTube channel. And for those of you who still like to tweet, please help spread the love by tweeting to us to @America. And don't forget to use the hashtag #America. And your tweet will appear on our live tweet wall on my left side here. And to begin today's event, I would like to invite Bapak James Dayringer, Acting Deputy Chief of Mission, U S Embassy Jakarta, for the opening remarks.
Thank you very much. Selamat malam. How's everyone doing tonight? Good, good. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I just have one question. How many people here speak or understand English tonight? See, because the more hands that go up, the longer I'm going to talk tonight. So you might want to put your hand down because that means I'm just going to talk more. So I have about 30 minutes of a speech prepared that I think you're all going to enjoy, and we'll start off with that. But seriously, it is wonderful to be here. This is the day before a very special American holiday. Does anybody know the name of it? Thanksgiving. And so we in the U.S. use that to celebrate our history and our heritage, and also to give thanks to our friends and our family. And so what better way to spend it than with you all today and giving thanks for the beautiful music that we are about to hear tonight. So, and also special thanks to our friends at Gereja Kristen Jawa Nehemiah in Lebak Bulus for putting together this orchestra for us and putting in so many hours of practice to get everyone ready for the performance tonight. So this is actually the second performance I understand that they performed on Independence Day earlier this year on August 17th. So it's truly heartwarming to see this group together. So this is the second page I've got coming up. I've got a few more to go, so just bear with me. So again, but seriously, we're all looking forward to hearing them play, learning how the group was formed, and also about maybe some secret stories about the patience it took to put such a group of diverse people together and be able to make such beautiful music. So this is also our year-long celebration of 70 years of diplomatic ties with Indonesia. And the Indonesian embassy in Washington kicked off the year in January with a 3-hour-long gamelan performance at our National Cathedral. And during that event, the musicians showcased how the gamelan has impacted our Western classical music tradition ever since its exposure at the Paris Exposition. Anybody know the year of that Paris Exposition? I didn't think so. Actually, I didn't either until I saw it on this paper. It was 1889. So, but we think it's fitting about a year later to close out this celebration with our own gamelan performance here in Jakarta. So at the end of the year and the end of our celebration, let's keep looking forward to the next 70 years and beyond. And unfortunately, this is the end of my remarks. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming out, and let's enjoy the music.
And for our moderator tonight, please give a warm welcome for Dr. Kitsie Emmerson.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Thank you so much to America and the U.S. Embassy for inviting me here today. And, you know, we're celebrating 70 years of partnership, of diplomatic relations. And I was horrified to realize today that my relationship, and thankful, but a little horrified, my relationship has been over half of those 70 years with Indonesia, 40 years ago. And it started with gamelan. 40 years ago, I was a freshman at Cornell University, and I heard gamelan. And I come from a tiny little lake in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, and I couldn't have located, I'm embarrassed to say, I could not have located Indonesia on a map. But then when I got to Cornell, Indonesia was a big deal there. And they had a gamelan, and I was a very serious classical pianist. I would just walk by the gamelan room thinking, well, I don't know what that is, but I need to practice. And then 7 years later, I was living in New York City, and I realized there was a gamelan at the Indonesian consulate in New York, so I decided to join. And I studied with a professor there from Bojonegoro, Central Java, and another professor from Trenggalek, Pak Harjito, Professor Sumarsam. So we all benefit from this 70-year diplomatic relationship because we meet people who had opportunities to teach in the US. We have opportunities to come here, institutions that have strong programs. After Cornell and after New York, I then went to Hawaii, another strong program, and studied with another gamelan teacher from Yogyakarta, the late Susilo, Harjo Susilo. And then from there, I moved to my first job in Berkeley, California, another strong program with Indonesia, and studied with another professor from Eromoko Wonogiri, Midianto. So I benefited from all these relationships that the US, all these ties that the US and Indonesia had through universities. And then I got a scholarship from the Indonesian government to come to Solo, Central Java in 1991. But right before I left, there was a big performance at the Smithsonian, a big Year of Indonesia at the Smithsonian Museum in Washington. And they had this group playing, and they were all rice farmers during the day and gamelan musicians at night, except for one really hotshot drummer. And I fell in love with him, and he became my husband. So then I moved to Solo, and I lived in Solo for 3 years, and I loved Gamelan so much I was studying day and night and day in and day out. And I decided I wanted to find a way to stay here, so I found another institution with strong relations with Indonesia, and that's Jakarta International School, now Jakarta Intercultural School, and I became a teacher there in 1994. And I've been a teacher there ever since. I just signed my 24th and final contract. Only because I need to stop now and, and after next year. And my husband and I, my husband's from Solo, will be moving to Solo permanently and setting up an arts institute there so that people from the US can come study Gamelan. So, thank you. In the meantime, my husband and I have organized 5 wayang shadow puppet tours to the US. And we toured the US with wayang performances and translation with the Dalang Kiper Buas Moro in 2006, 2008, 2012, and 2013. And we visited 15 different cities and 4 universities. So these relationships just keep building, and we connect the dots and connect the dots. And I'm so happy to be able to be here tonight to celebrate this wonderful event. So thank you very much, and I can't wait to hear the Gamelan play. Greg, who gets the mic next? Yeah. Sekarang akan nunggu. So the first piece that Duta Laras is going to play, Duta, of course, ambassador, and Laras, melody. First piece they're going to play is Manyare Sewu, which means 1,000 birds. And Manyare Sewu is a fairly old piece. We don't really know, but it was probably written in the 1800s. And in shadow puppet performances, it's used for when the troops depart. So let's hear them play it. my second piece is Gugur Gunung, which was written by the very first Gamelan teacher who ever went to the US to teach, Pak Cokro, Pak Warsito Diningrat, and he's from Yogyakarta. He went to the US in California to teach and ended up teaching there for 40 years. And he wrote this, Gugur Gunung. Very nice. The players are wonderful. I don't know all of them, but I would like to point out Commander Greg Adams, Navy by day, Javanese drummer by night. The last piece they're going to play is an interesting piece. It was written before the Republic of Indonesia was founded, during colonial days, and it's a piece where society is asking the leaders to not be corrupt. This is from the 1930s. It's like a little light song, but actually the words are riddles, which mean anti-corruption messages inside the riddles. Okay, we're going to have a discussion now with our panel. We have some chairs moving in, and we're going to hear from some members of the Javanese community. Pak Wakidi, Pak Lumbini, 45 nanti, Pak.
Nanti.
And, ya, Pak Wakidi. Pak Wakidi di sini. Pak Lumbini, Pak Wakidi. have Ratani? Ratani? Pak Lumbini? Ratani, yeah. So this is my husband, Pak Wakidi Dwijo Martono. He's from Solo, and he has done many tours to the US and has been a visiting artist at Tufts University. And now he administrates a monthly event in Solo that's sponsored mostly by US citizens. It's also sponsored by some Canadians, some Japanese students, and Italian students, and Singaporean students. But 85% of the sponsors are from the US, and these are people who studied in the US, went back to the US, but still want to hear the music and see their teachers every month. And for 15 years, they've sponsored a monthly event in Solo where they have their teachers get together and just play. And they record it and study it. It's been going on for 15 years. And Pak Wakidi's event. And it's happening tomorrow night if you're going to be in Solo. This is Pak Lumbini Trihasto. He is the foremost composer right now in the dance department at the Indonesian Institute of the Arts in Solo. He's a composer and a performer. And his mother is a legendary gamelan player. Absolutely legendary as well. And this is Ratani Hoyt, right? Okay, who's been playing in Duta Laras for quite a while. We'll hear from her in a minute. First, we'd just like to have Pak Wakidi talk a little bit about what gamelan used to be like when he was young. So, Pak Wakidi, dalam bahasa Indonesia saja ya. Waktu kecil, gamelan dipakai untuk apa saja? Untuk event apa saja?
Ya, waktu kecil saya umur 10 tahun sudah belajar gamelan, dan gamelan itu juga gunanya banyak sekali. Untuk orang punya kerja mantu atau bersih desa, banyak sekali penggunaannya, dan untuk mengiringi wayang kulit, juga untuk mengiringi wayang orang, tarian semuanya.
So Pak Wakidi's been playing since he was 10 years old. Gamelan for weddings, for village cleansings, village celebrations, various milestones in people's lives, to accompany dance, to accompany shadow puppetry. And before we move on, I don't want to forget that we have a very special guest also here tonight, Matt Dunning. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
And Matt's from the Buffalo, New York Gamelan group. So we'll hear him speak in a few minutes. Jadi Pak Lumbini, kira-kira gamelan itu di masyarakat ada perubahan apa saja dalam zaman sekarang, kalau dibandingkan zaman dulu?
Ya, terima kasih Bu Kitsie. Kalau tadi Pak Wakidi ngendika berusia 10 tahun beliau sudah bisa belajar gamelan. Bahkan kalau saya umur 5 tahun, Bapak. Ini sungguh terjadi karena saat itu kami kebetulan keluarga kami seniman, Pak Wakidi juga perso, Bu Kitsie juga perso. Ya, saya umur 5 tahun sudah digembleng dari keluarga.
Nah, saya terjemahkan dulu ya. That's a big difference between the two of them, actually. Pak Lumbini's from a family of musicians. Everybody's family is a musician, and he's been playing since he was 5. Pak Wakidi is not from a family of musicians in terms of his mother and father and grandmother, but his older brother, and there was a 15 years age difference, was a legendary musician. So it took him a while. When he was 10, he started to realize, yeah, I want to do this like my older brother. So, Pak Lumbini, ada perbedaan apa saja sekarang?
Oke. Jadi perbedaannya dari Pak Wakidi ke generasi saya itu sangat banyak sekali. Jadi artinya tadi sudah disebutkan Bu Kitsie bahwasanya memang kami ada tugas di Institut Seni Indonesia. Perkembangannya sampai sekarang sangat-sangat luar biasa. Apalagi di dalam kami bergelut di ISI Surakarta, kami bahkan diberi kesempatan untuk membuat karya. Nah, karya-karya itu bisa karya inovatif, kekreativitasan daripada si penyusun itu sendiri.
So he's saying that one big difference is that his job at the Institute in Solo is to create new pieces. And Pak Wakidi grew up playing the pieces from the 1700s, the 1800s, and in Pak Lumini's generation, they're making new things, new pieces for dance accompaniment and shadow puppetry accompaniment. Thank you.
Yeah. Bisa nambah sedikit?
Bisa.
Ini. Ya, oke. Kebetulan di kota kami di Solo itu ada program untuk pemerintah setempat dari SD, SMP, SMK, SMK bahkan itu dari keseluruhan sekolah ini sudah ada hampir 80% itu ada bantuan gamelan dari pemerintah setempat. Lah inilah untuk menunjukkan kemajuan perbedaannya dari Pak Wakidi ke teman-teman yang notabene itu milenial itu sudah sampai ke sana.
That's wonderful. So there's a government program to put gamelan in all of the schools. In Pak Wakidi's era, there would be a gamelan, a public gamelan, maybe in the public square or in an official's outside square, but it would be somewhat more random. But now there's a government program to put gamelan in so many schools and teachers too. Yeah, Matur nuwun. Okay. Okay. Now we'll hear from Ratani. Ratani, could you tell us a little bit about your experience playing gamelan and why you started playing, what interested you?
So I first became aware of gamelan when I was a student at Johns Hopkins University. But I've never started, I was not interested because I'm tone deaf. It's only when we arrived here and my daughter started to take classes in her school and she was really good at it and she talked to me about it a little bit more that, you know, you really don't need to have those ears for music to really appreciate it. So when Greg opened up or started to invite people in the community to come and join, I started joining because I wanted something to relate to my daughter with. So it's my daughter and we joined this team. We've been doing this for about three going on 4 months now, and I really, really enjoyed it. The teachers, these gentlemen here has been really patient and just been really helpful in introducing us to the music, really, really fine-tune any delay in responding to the music, or if I'm playing too fast or if I'm playing too slow, they'll stop and they'll say, okay, stop, right? So, but the main thing, what started me into doing this, it was to learn more about the Indonesian culture, and there's nothing more prevalent than to embrace the music, the instruments that's here. And since we're here, I figure it's a great way for us to really, really learn it. Because, I mean, like in the US, you really have to go out of your way to find groups that can play, that can teach you all of these things. So nothing else, I'm bonding with my daughter. So.
And although depending on where you live, you may have to go out of your way, I would give you a little statistic that there are over 150 gamelan groups in the US. At most major universities, at all consulates, and even some community groups, which we're about to hear from right now. So we have Matt Dunning here from the Buffalo Community Group, not connected to a university or a consulate. Just an organic community group, and he's going to tell us about how that got started. And if you know U.S. geography, Buffalo snows a lot and is very cold. So imagine them playing gamelan there. It's very entertaining. Matt, welcome.
Thank you, Kitsie. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, world friends.
Yeah, I used to live in Surakarta actually for a few years, and the way that I came to Gamelan was a bit different than Kitsie, because I came up learning about Gamelan music in music groups that were not connected to universities, but were community organizations, like the group in Chicago, and I was really fortunate to get a Dharma Siswa scholarship from the Indonesian government 2 years in a row. So I could live in Surakarta and study at EC Solo and with some teachers outside of the school as well. And it was really amazing being sort of embedded in the culture in a way that was not possible before. You know, I thought I knew something about Gamelan, and then I moved to Indonesia and I learned that I had to learn a lot more. So I was also very lucky to combine resources with the Indonesian embassy in Washington, D.C. to start my own group here in New York, so in Buffalo, New York. We are really close to Niagara Falls also, if you're familiar with that. So we've been playing for about 3 years now, and we have a group of U.S. citizens, but also some Indonesians that get together twice a week, and we put on big shows. We do latihan, and it's a really good time.
That's great. And what kind of music do you play, Matt? Do you play all kind of classical repertoire from the 1800s? Do you like to play pieces that were more recently written? Do some of you write your own pieces?
Yeah, so our group is oriented a bit more towards the classical repertoire. So we like to play the old pieces. We like to play pieces that I played when I was in Indonesia, either at the Mangkunegaran Palace or at EC. But we also play some newer pieces that are popular in wayang, like Aja Lamis and some other pieces like that. We have done wayang shadow puppet shows. We have done planningan shows. We've also done tari shows with some dancers from Indonesia. So we do a little bit of everything.
That's great. And we all, in the U.S., we benefit from so many Indonesians who are there somewhat permanently. The professors I mentioned earlier, and there are also more. There are probably about 7 very talented Indonesian musicians who are stationed at various universities around the U.S. So even though nobody's in Buffalo, Matt can get people coming from New York or coming from Washington or coming from someplace.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky here. You know, we have this very good cultural situation in Buffalo because there are Indonesian people living here. One of the people in our group is a woman, and she owns a batik clothing store here in Buffalo. So we're able to coordinate with her to get our really nice costumes for when we perform and some other things like that. But if we don't have the real cultural connection to Indonesia and Indonesians, it's not going to be authentic. So we want to play music in the most authentic way possible.
Great, thank you. We'll have a question and answer session later, but I think it's time now to hear some more music. And we have the Kereta Christian Jawa Nahamiah group that's going to be playing very well-known dance, very old dance as well, Gambiong. And nobody really is able to answer, all the scholars, how long has Gambiong been around? But for at least 300 years, we know that. And then they're going to do a fragment from the wayang stories, Bambang Cakil. So let's let them get ready. Nanti tanya jawab. Greg, while they're waiting, could we introduce the director of your group? Is it Pak Dylan? Pak Dylan? The artistic, the teachers. You know, the teachers of your group.
While the group is getting ready on stage. Silakan Pak, silakan Pak. Tunggu apa? Yes, this is Pak Dylan. He's our teacher. We'll recognize him a little bit later. But also Pak Nartoyo di sini, di sana. Thank you, Pak. They've been very kind and very gracious and very patient with us. Thank you very much, Pak. We'll call you. Thank you, sir.
I've known Pak Nartoyo for decades. Ya, Pak. Yeah, Pak. Yeah, Pak. Terima kasih. So we'll let them get set up here. You know, while they're getting set up, what Ratanya was saying is so true, that if you want to play gamelan and just come to rehearsal every week and not think about it in between, you can. That's what's so special about gamelan. Or you can practice every day for 3 hours if you're studying one of the really hard instruments, and pretty much anything in between. So that's what's so great about it. This instrument that Pak Lumbini is doing a little bit of playing on there, that's the one that his mother is a legend on in Java. And that takes 3 hours of practice for years, 3 hours every day for years. And I'm coming from the background of a classical pianist. I really mean it. Like 3 hours a day for years. But you could play other instruments and just come once a week to a rehearsal and everything in between, so. Wednesday, 7 o'clock is their rehearsal. Wonderful. So the next dance, Bambang Cakil. It comes from in the shadow puppet performances at about 1 or 2 in the morning. One of the princes, one of the heroes, has a scene in which he faces his inner fears. So he's about to go off on some great mission, but he has to face his own inner fears first. And these are manifested, symbolized by an ogre that comes out of the forest, a demon that comes out of the forest to battle him. But it happens every night, and every night the demon is defeated. It's not actually a real demon, but rather his own misgivings about himself and lack of confidence, and he's able to defeat the demon, and then he goes off. And this is that fragment of the prince defeating that wiry demon in the middle of the forest at about 2 in the morning. If you go to a wayang shadow puppet performance every night, you'll see that every night in the traditional style. You'll see Chakil die every night. Yeah, the prince's inner, but it's just the prince's inner fears. And there's a famous artist here in Jakarta, famous Javanese painter, Gamelan, who made a greeting card for Idul Fitri when everybody apologizes for what they've done each year at the end of the fasting month. And the picture is Chakil and the prince finally hugging and saying, it's really time that we put our differences aside, because we see it every night. Okay, we're going to have a very short question and answer session now. And so Pak Wakidi, Pak Lumbini, Ratani, you can come back. And I think we're going to get Matt as well from Buffalo.
Yeah, still here.
Great. Were you able to see that, Matt?
I actually couldn't see anything, but I could hear it.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was live streamed, so you can go back and check on the Facebook site.
Oh, great.
So we have a time for any question and answer, any questions that anybody would like to ask. Is there somebody who has a question for Matt from Buffalo about his group, Ratani about her history, Pat Lumbini or Pat Wakidi? I can't see very well from the light, but...
Thank you. So for the lady who is sitting there, just want to know a little bit, because you are originally from States, right? And you are, participating in this or attending this Gamelan culture practice or things like that. What I want to know is, this culture or music is very much different with the West music or culture. What I want to know is, how do you feel? I mean, is there any kind of a kind of magic or a kind of feelings that is really different from what you are experiencing when you are listening or practicing or experiencing this West music or West culture? Thank you.
Lots of pressure. So. So I like music in general, but this is the first time I've played instrument. And when I first started, my fingers doesn't work, the rhythm isn't there. But after a couple of practices, I developed this Zen-like stage. So when I played, besides the teachers correcting me and stopping telling me to hit harder, to hit softer, just lighten up on the instrument, I go into a Zen. I'm focusing on the music, I'm hearing it, it's transformed me out of whatever's happening during that day, that week, that month. It takes me to a different place. It's more peaceful. And if you're into meditation, it is a fantastic things to get into, because it helps you to come in and really be at that moment in time and forget everything else. And if you have a teenage daughter, come on in. We're always recruiting. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question?
Selamat malam, nama saya Lisa. Saya bertanya ke Pak Wakidi ya. Saya pengen tahu apa nama instrumen ini semua. Terus supaya bisa ada harmoninya, apakah semua harus dimainkan gitu? Dan yang paling susah tuh yang mana dari instrumen ini untuk dimainkan? Terima kasih.
Yang pertama itu minta nama.
Nama-nama instrumen.
Nama-nama instrumen, oke.
Iya.
Pak Wakidi.
Ya, bagaimana? Ya, instrumen yang pertama yang itu namanya gender. Ini.
So this is the gender,
Ya.
gender barung.
Sebelahnya itu slentem.
Slentem.
Terus yang itu kendang.
The drum is the kendang.
Ada 3 macam, kendang gending, dan kendang ciblon, dan kendang sabet itu untuk sabet wayang kulit.
So when you're sitting in that drum circle, there are 3 kinds. There's the big drum, there's a smaller drum that plays smaller rhythms, and there's a drum for wayang movements and dance movements, and 2 drums for wayang and dance movement.
Dan sebelah kendang itu namanya kenong.
Then the really big pots in the back are kenong.
Dan juga yang gandul itu.
Okay. Those hanging
Tapi
things.
bukan gandul itu ya, kempul itu, gong sama kempul.
Those hanging things over there are called the kempul. So when you go to Bogor or to Solo or Jogja and you buy what you call a gong, if it's small like those, it's a kempul. It has a different function from a gong, which is much larger. The big gong there that's about 1 meter in diameter. The small ones are kempul.
Dan yang dipegang Pak Nartoyo itu namanya suling.
So Pak
Suling
Nartoyo is
Jawa.
playing the flute, the suling, suling.
Ya. Bagus. Ya. Dan yang ada sitar Pak. Ya, sitar ada.
Then we
Ya.
have the sitar, the strings.
Itu juga bisa untuk bekerja sendirian. Untuk ngamen.
So they're laughing because the sitar is often something that some musicians would take onto the street, and none of these musicians, but there are people that play sitar on the street for money, right? That's a different profession, really. These are very, very dignified classical musicians. Yes. Okay.
Oke, dan di depan ini bonang.
This is the bonang barung, the
Bonang
bonang.
barung. Yang belakangnya bonang penerus.
And behind is the bonang penerus. And the pesinden.
Pesinden ya ibu-ibu itu.
The female singers are the pesinden.
Dan gerong yang di belakang.
And the male
Gerong.
chorus is the gerong. The gerong.
Bukan garong, gerong.
Gerong. Sarang, demung.
Terus ini temung ada 2. Temung barung, ini temung.
So up front here, these 2 are the demung, the larger ones. In the middle, the saron.
Itu saron. 1, 2, 3, 4 saron.
And a little tiny one
Saron
up here.
penerus namanya kalau di Jawa peking.
Peking.
Yeah.
Peking, right.
Ini ada ketuknya enggak? Ketuk.
Ada ketuk. There's a
Ada ketuk, ya.
So I think another question was, Pak Wakidi, yang mana yang paling sulit? Which ones are the hardest to study, to
Yang
master?
paling sulit itu kendang.
He's saying the
Kalau saya
hardest.
kendang.
The hardest is the drum.
Kendang itu
Commander
mengatur.
Greg Adams. The hardest is the drum. Right.
Masalahnya kalau kendang itu mengatur irama dan lebih-lebih kalau ciblon mengambil suara dungnya mana, bemnya mana, taknya
Yes.
mana itu masih sulit.
So he's saying the drum is the leader of the speed and all those transitions, and the more elaborate drum that the man was playing during the dance is extremely difficult to practice hours and hours for that one. There was another question, wasn't there? Oh, so do they all have to be playing together, or can you have just a few instruments? Jadi semua harus bunyi bersama atau
Ya,
bisa?
harus bunyi bersama. Umpamanya seperti tadi, Manyar Sewu, terus lainnya apa, kuwi ada gak katok.
Ya,
semuanya harus bersama.
But there are situations where you can have just a gender and a singer,
Ya.
or you can have gender and kendang and a singer. There's a string instrument called the rebab that we don't have here tonight. Yeah. Okay. Is there another question?
Greg Adams from Duta Laras. My question's for Matt. Matt, nice meeting you. I don't know if we'll get a chance to say thanks after you go offline, but thanks for all you're doing for Indonesian culture in Buffalo and in the United States. My question is, how many people in your group, and what are you working on next? What's your next big thing?
Sure. Yeah, this is actually a great question. We have between 15 and 25 people in our group. But I do teach classes throughout the entire year to different people on a once-off occasion. So maybe in a single year, I teach over 100 or 200 people how to play some gamelan. But in our performing group, we do 15 to 25 people. And our next big performance is going to be in January. And this is a very special performance. It's going to be held at a science museum in Buffalo. This museum, though, in the past, used to be a natural history museum, and they have a huge collection of Indonesian artifacts like wayang shadow puppets, crisp knife, batik cloth, masks for dancing, and other things. So they're going to do a special exhibition of this material that they haven't actually had on display since 1977. And they're going to do it a one-day only exhibition for our performance here in Buffalo.
Great, wonderful. So exciting. The major groups in the U.S. besides the Buffalo group, there's a very talented group in New York City at the consulate, the Indonesian consulate. Very talented group at Tufts University in Boston, in Berkeley, California, in Chicago. Talented groups really all over in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Wesleyan, at Brown University in Rhode Island, in Seattle, in Portland, in Houston, many, many very talented groups. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, and I'll get in trouble for it tomorrow. But lots and lots of great things. Any other questions? Yeah. One more question. Silakan.
Thank you. I'm Miriam from the GKJ Nehemia. First of all, I would like to ask you as the MC, actually been married with a leading teacher of Gamelan. So what does music or the Indonesian Gamelan embrace you for all these years? So I know you played Gamelan also. Maybe you're also a pesinden. Please acknowledge us, because it is a very... I just known that you're married with an Indonesian Gamelan leader. Please, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, I'm not mainly a pesinden. I did study vocal tradition, but my first instrument was the gender, and I studied the gender for about 3 years. The one that Pat Lumbini was playing over here, because this is for me the most similar to piano, and I started as a pianist. I studied the gender for many years, and then I studied the drum, because my husband was a drummer, so I better study the drum, the kendang. And then I studied the string instrument, the rebab, and I finished, after that, each one was 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, and building. And then I studied vocal tradition, including sindanan, for a few years after that. So yes, I have studied all the major instruments, and my favorite really is still, I would say, gender. Still, yeah. Thank you. And just here in town, if anybody has a reason to ever want a children's group, I'll just make a plug for the Jakarta International School Performing Club. We have a children's gamelan after-school group. It's like the choir, the orchestra. The gamelan troupe is a performing troupe, and if we get an invitation, we come play, and they have outfits just like this, and they're children ages 8 to 12 from 15 different countries. Okay, I think I'd like to thank you so much for coming, everybody, and your interest. And I'd like to introduce again Commander Greg Adams. Oh, I forgot. They have one more song for you, which is a really special song. It's in celebration of Indonesian independence. It was written by the first president of Indonesia, President Sukarno, in collaboration with a very well-known musician, Kinarto Sabto. They wrote this together, and it's called Semangat Juang 45. Oh, langsung. Monggo, Pak. Okay. Diulang.
Siap.
Excellent. Please stand up and take a bow.
Bagus sekali. That was awesome. Wow, suasana bagus, indah sekali, semangat. Semangat. Menyenangkan atau tidak? Aduh. Merdeka. Merdeka. My name is Greg Adams. I'm going to close tonight, and I just want to talk a little bit about the people that helped put this together, this Gamelan performance. It really was a group of people and relationships connected across the Pacific, across down Jalan Fatmawati to Lebak Bulus. But our goal with this event was never to perform in public. And here we are. Our goal was to have fun and to learn Gamelan. And from there, it gained popularity and more people joined. And so it started an invitation between me and my friend Colonel Didit. Colonel Didit, where are you, sir? Thank you, sir. So a few folks mentioned today that I'm in the Navy. I'm not here representing the Navy at the Gamelan event, but it just so happens I'm in the Navy, and Colonel Didit just happens to be a colonel in the Indonesian Marine, and a very good one at that. And he works at the International Cooperation Office at Joint Force Headquarters, TNI Headquarters. And Pat Didit invited me to come play, and I saw what was happening at GKJ, and I wanted my friends to see. And then he had an idea, and it's his fault we're here tonight. It's his idea. This was his dream, and he introduced me to Pat Suraji. And Pat Suraji, please join us up here. And then he introduced me to Pat Dylan. Pat Dylan. And Pak Nartoyo. And Pak Andreas. And of course, no good man is anybody without his wife. And so Pak Suraji introduced us to Bu Yakti. Ibu, please. But this really was a team effort. Thank you. I am just overjoyed at the amount of support and love and friendship that is on stage and in the players, but also those that came to support, and I'm just so grateful for that. This was meant to celebrate our 70th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Indonesia and the U.S. and because it's about friendships, it's about personal relationships. Not only Gamelan, but diplomacy. And so Gamelan is a beautiful metaphor for diplomacy. It requires commitment. You make mistakes, you get better, you take on more challenges. You have to play in unison. Harus main bersama. Just like in diplomacy, right? And we've made a lot of effort in that. Although 70 years is a significant achievement of progress and strength between our relationship, this was a very small feat compared to that a bit, but a very cherished feat, and I'm very grateful for that. So I would like to take time to commemorate the event and pass out some gifts. First to the church, GKJN. How do you call it? Tabu? Tabu Gamelan. Ada satu bendera Indonesia, satu Amerika Serikat. Pak Andreas is kepala bagian budaya at the church, and so I'd like to present this to him to please hang prominently. And it says, Matersun. We've learned a little bit of Javanese. Thank you, Bapak. And then for everybody, we also have a small token of appreciation. Yeah, the bag. Yeah. Tabu tabu. I don't know if they work, but you can hang them. Pak Dylan, our teacher, Pak Nartoyo, our teacher, they've been very kind and very patient and firm, but fair. Pak Didit, thank you very much, sir. This is all because of you and your friendship, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'll never forget you. Pak Suraji, terima kasih. My mentor, my friend, sangat kebapakan, sangat peduli, mantap. Thank you very much. Ibu Yakti put this all together. She was behind the scenes on this. But I'd also like to ask our assistant, or acting deputy chief of mission, James Dayringer, up here, and Bu Kitsie. Bu Kitsie, thank you for being here with us tonight. You have a wealth of knowledge. I'm so glad you're teaching our children. I know many of them were here tonight but had to go to bed. You'd be proud of that. It's so nice to see the depth and care you have for this country, the culture, and Gamelan. And thank you very much. And thank you for commemorating our event, sir. Terima kasih banyak, Matersun. Picture time.
Oke, boleh tepuk tangan sekali lagi yang paling meriah untuk para performer kita. Dan saya mengundang untuk semua performer untuk berfoto bersama di panggung. Oke. Untuk penarinya juga saya mengundang kepada seluruh penari untuk berfoto bersama. Boleh ditahan dulu, jangan kemana-mana dulu. Kita akan berfoto bersama. Silahkan maju ke depan. Dan terima kasih untuk semuanya yang sudah datang. Hope to see you guys at another AS-Indonesia event. Bye, have a great night everybody. Untuk para penari,